Figured it out. It's happening. It's happening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Coffee Tea, You and Me. I'm sorry for starting the broadcast a little late, but today's guest is just phenomenal as always. And I'm so glad that he's here with us today on the show. We were just chopping it up backstage before we got this thing started. And so I hope that you all will enjoy the program and the show today. It's going to be phenomenal. If you have a chance, and if you haven't taken the chance yet to literally check us out on YouTube, on Facebook, and on LinkedIn, definitely do that. Like us, forward this material to somebody else. Please, 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 please don't keep us a secret, because we are here for the benefit of all of those small women-owned, minority-owned businesses that are out there struggling, trying to make it happen for this COVID-19 situation. In fact, this is a funny story. I started Coffee Tea, You and Me with Coach Powell years ago. I mean, it's been over 20 years now. And I started sitting at a coffee shop every Friday from 3 to 5, just sharing whatever I wanted to share, whatever I needed to share. And the reason I did that really is because my phone was ringing off the hook. You know, people were calling me from all over the place, asking me for help with this and help with that, and what I did when I thought about that. And that was because I was wearing so many hats in the community. I was the chairman of the Centerville Community Foundation. I was the chairman of the Fairfax County Small Business Commission at the time. I was also on several boards and opportunities around the county and around the tri-city area. We call that the tri-state, the DMV, the district, the Maryland and Virginia area, that people were just calling me all the time. And I just did not have the time to do my business, which at the time was professional financial planning, and be so active in all these community members and all these boards and all these things. So I was like, how do I figure this out? So I said to myself, and I said to everyone else, listen, if you want my time, if you want my energy, if you want my thoughts, if you want anything from me, I promise you I will give it all away for free. All you got to do is show up at the coffee shop every Friday from 3 to 5. And it's turned into this. Now I'm broadcasting globally on the three major platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And we're helping people develop ideas, strategize for their business, create whatever they need to create. And this is a moment. This is a moment for entrepreneurs. And I have to say, my big vision in life, and my mission is to really make entrepreneurship a thriving thought process in more and more and more people. As I grow on, as I go in my continued life, I want to make sure that we create entrepreneurs, business leaders, professionals who are going to move into ownership, understanding how valuable it is to have control of their life, of their destiny, of their future, and everything in it, so that they can create legacy for themselves, for their families, everybody around them. This is my joy. This is my passion. This is what I'm all about. This is what I feel I am called to do and participate in. And one of the ways I express it and bring this joy out in my life is really this program, Coffee Tea, You and Me. So I'm going to invite you. I'm going to invite you to play with me. I'm going to invite you to, if you have a business of any type, put your information in the comment section. Put your information in the chat. Let us know who you are. Broadcast whatever you want to broadcast. If you got a new thing coming up, a new event that you want to invite people to, a program or anything that you want to have happen, make sure you put that information in the chat. We want to make sure we give you a shout out. We want to make sure you get all the accolades and everything you could possibly do. If you come into us from somewhere else, outside of the Washington metropolitan area, maybe you're coming to us from Seattle, maybe you're coming to us from Nigeria. I've had people coming on from Norway and all kinds of different places. I mean, they do it different times of the day. It doesn't even matter. Tell us where you're coming from and tell us what time of day that you are broadcasting this information. For obviously, for those of you all who are out there in the private chat, that are part of our thing, make sure you put your information in the private chat. Try to put everything in one line. That way I can just cut and copy it right into the chat stream, so people can get to it in one link. And so if there's everything, any contact information you want to share, we're going to share with it live anyway, but I want to make sure that everybody can see it and click on it and link back to you as soon as possible. So all of my special guests, you all have access to them. That's important, right? We want to have access to one another. The biggest thing I think we lose when it comes to dealing with life, business, and anything is that access, that personal access, and that with a trusted network of friends. Speaking of which, that's one of the things I am so proud that I'm also a co-founder of an organization called the Roundtable. If you have a chance to follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on on Facebook or follow us on Twitter, wherever you want, hashtag the roundtable, one word, hashtag the roundtable, and you'll be able to see all the wonderful programs and things that we do regularly. We offer over 100 programs, live events every year, right? That's every weekly, every one, at least a weekly event every year. Then we do quarterly programs and we do other weekly events, including this event. Is all to help people understand how to view and how to participate in networking in a way that's going to help move themselves forward, help move everything forward in their lives and in their business. So I'm proud of what we've been able to do and what we'll continue to do. But guess what, guys? I can't do it without you. I can't do it. None of this can be done without the live audience. None of it can be done without you participating, nothing, your engagement. And more importantly, help me find more sponsors who want to attach and associate themselves with the good work that we're doing in the communities all over the world now. I can't thank enough one of my favorite organizations, Blacks in Government, run by my girl Shirley Jones. I am so proud to have them on board as sponsors and collaborators with me to try to bring, the entrepreneurial mindset into even the government executive levels and the government mid levels for anybody who's working for the federal government. If you're thinking in any way, shape, or form that you may have an entrepreneurial heart or a bend towards entrepreneurship, and even if it's a part-time thing, you want to stick your toe in the water, we need to be in contact with each other. And I thank Blacks in Government for helping me to facilitate that. I'm also very thankful of the Central Fairfax Chamber of Commerce. That is our local city chamber of commerce. Anybody know about the city of Fairfax here in Northern Virginia? It is a city within the county of Fairfax. And the directors of the program for the Central Fairfax Chamber are so brilliant and so wonderful. I can't say enough about my girl, Jennifer Rose. She is so special and she's such a wonderful talent. I hope we can keep her in the Central Fairfax for as long as she wants to stay. But I also want to be there for her success when it's time for her to spread her wings and fly forward. And so it's a beautiful relationship we have, and I'm looking for more. I'm looking for more associations. I'm looking for more organizations that want to partner with me to take small women-owned and minority businesses to the next level by giving them the real honest poop, the straight information they need to have in order to be successful. It's not always about access to capital. It's not always about establishing a brand or your marketing position. It sometimes is really about getting over the fear and the anxiety of taking the leap into entrepreneurship. People understanding how to do that, how to do it well, are going to be more successful than people who approach it in a tentative way. And that's what I'm all about. Making sure you have the relationship that you need to have to secure everything you need to do to make your business as profitable and as meaningful, as powerful as it possibly can be. Today's guest is super special. Like me, he's committed to making sure that everybody has what they need to move themselves forward, to move their business forward. He's one of the best executive coaches I have ever had the chance to meet and pleasure to work with. And I'm always gleeful when he decides to grace us with his presence and show us a little bit about, what he's all about on the show. And so I'm going to introduce, without further ado, one of the greatest coaches out there right now, my boy, my friend, Mr. James Bond. All right, James, let's see if we can't get you back on the show here. If I can figure out how to pull you out of, where'd you go? Guess, there you go. Haha, I got you back. Yeah, I know, I found you. There he is.
Awesome. Thank you, Brother Powell. I appreciate you. And I love your show, which is why I always try to make sure I get my little alert and say, look, I got time. Let me call real quick and then make sure to jump on. Because there's so much value that you bring. And it's all about us bringing value. So this is Coach Bond, James Bond, the best life coach on planet Earth. Why? Because the great I am said that I am. So I need anyone else's approval. This is not a part-time gig. This is not a sell you some program where I don't see you for a year after you sign up. It's not about that. This is my calling. This is my why for waking up this morning to help you get from A to B or A to Z. When life doesn't make sense, when business doesn't make sense, you need to call me and we can get you where you have to be. So Coach Bond, James Bond, this is my 14th year this coming August of being a full-time life coach. Stop letting people try to take you where they haven't been. So I just challenge you today. If you don't make sense personally, your life didn't make sense, or business doesn't make sense, I cover all those areas. Again, I'm here, Coach Bond, James Bond. Thank you, Brother Powell. I appreciate your opportunity to be on this phenomenal show, because it is our job to help each other as citizens of this world, not just United States, to give information as needed. So I'm glad to be here, and so looking forward to the show today.
Thank you so much. It's so good to have you. Always, always, always great to have you. Today's show is super special because I'm introducing today a brand new series. And in this series, we're going to be reviewing and talking about all the research that we've done to talk about and to understand what benefits are all about. It's called Benefits, 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 the keys to professional success. So we're going to talk about that over the next 4, maybe 5 weeks. It depends on how they're going. And I'm going to have you wait backstage for a minute while I introduce the topic. And then I'm going to bring you back
Awesome.
and answer any questions that our audience will have, talk to any of our guest members who need to be talked to, or any questions that they may have. And then we're going to have a great time. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you so much for coming on. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you some more. And we will get started with the party in just a second. Okay. Now everybody knows me, right? Every time we do this, I always have a good time. I always enjoy what I'm doing. I want to make sure that everybody's getting set up. And so while you're doing that, before I take a quick little commercial break, I want you to begin to think about what benefits mean to you. How do you receive them? How do you share them? And more importantly, how do you perform in a way that highlights the things that you have to bring to the table, the gifts that you have to share, the things that you want to participate and grow in? How do you do that in a way that's going to work for both you and the person or the people or the organization that you're working with, right? And I'm hoping that you all are going to enjoy this. And as we move to our commercial break, and we'll come right back, make sure that you like what we're doing, that you share it, that you're friends with everybody you want to be friends with. Remember, hashtag the roundtable. And here we go. That's literally one of the favorite branding commercials I have for everything that we do here at Coffee Tea, You and Me, and at Coach Powell Training and Development. It's really about getting the gears working. It's about getting us in a place where we can put things together and make it work right, right? It's very, very important that we all do that. Today's topic for Coffee Tea, You and Me, and for the rest of the next 4, maybe 5 weeks, it depends on how long it takes me to get through all the material, all the wonderful research that I've done. It's going to be super exciting. I'm going to give you an overview of what we're going to be talking about for the next 4 weeks. So, and this is very, very important. So sharpen your pencils and get ready, because I want to make sure that you tune in, that you schedule, that you make time over the next few weeks to talk about this. Come on the show, ask the questions that you may have to ask about the things that we're going to be talking about. Make sure that you put them in the chat. Make sure that even after, if you're seeing this as a recording and you have some things you want to place in the chat, go ahead and put it in the chat for all to see. I don't care if you're advertising your business, or you're asking a question, or you're participating, engaging in the conversation. It's all about engagement. And the more we can do that, the more we can help support one another and can come up with the ideas and the concepts and the people and the connections that we need to come up with to make whatever we want to have happen. And that's what it's all about, making it happen. You got to do that. You got to put that effort and energy forward to drive whatever you want to do. Speaking of which, today's topic is about that effort. How do you, and here's the question I want to ask you, how do you adequately share the benefits that you bring to the table? How do you make sure that you're receiving the benefits that you're supposed to be receiving, that you should be receiving, that you deserve to receive? And how do you make sure that you're performing at a level for the right people in the right ways that show that benefit process, that process of sharing, that process of contributing, that process of getting it back in the reciprocity, and making sure that you're getting back all the things that you deserve to get back from all the things that you're willing to share and invest in others and in places. This is how benefits work. The whole idea, the concept of benefits is all about three key things. And we're going to make sure we share those three key things over and over and over with you throughout the next couple of weeks so that you understand and you get it in your mind and you get it in your habits and in the way that you express and articulate. Everything that you do has to deal with these benefits, right? So let's think about it. Three key things that benefits always do, right? Number one, they drive interest. Number two, they keep your attention. Number three, they create admiration. So let's get into it, right? I'm super excited about this. In general, what are benefits? Benefit are anything and everything that you do, that you have, that you become, that you share, that drive interest, that keep attention, and that create admiration. Everything you do fits into those three categories if you're doing it well. Now, obviously, there's some opposites, right? The opposites of benefit, of receiving a benefit, are things that bore you, right? These are the things that do not grab your attention, right? These things, in fact, make you change and shift your attention and focus to somewhere other than where you want it to go, where it needs to be. And these are things that not just, they don't create respect, they create disrespect. There's no admiration there. Right. So you don't want to be in those categories. You want to be in the categories where you're actually having a positive effect, right? You're actually delivering positive ideas and positive concepts and positive benefits that are going to create an environment where you can literally then generate admiration. So let's break it down. Let's talk about first about driving interest. Why do benefits drive interest? And I want you to think about the things that attract you the most to opportunity. What are the things that make you go, ooh, I want to know more. I want to see more about that. I'm interested, right? I have a drive. Something about it is compelling to me. Great benefit statements, great benefit marketing, great benefit sharing always drives interest to the people that want to receive the benefit. So think about that. If you're driving, if you're leading a statement or you're leading a presentation or you're leading anything that you're doing and you're bringing forward the benefits that you offer right off the bat, before you say your name, before you say the name of your company, before you say anything, you talk to people about the benefits that you offer. And you know you offer these benefits because you have already done the work in studying and researching and figuring out what it is that you offer to people and how they receive it. How well do they receive it? You already know because you've done your homework. You've talked to your top clients. You've talked to your top referral sources. You've talked to the stakeholders that matter in your life and in your business. And you've asked them the question, how do I drive these three things for you? How do I drive interest? How do I keep your attention? What am I doing that creates admiration with you? Tell me. And now once you get that information, right, you can't make it up on your own, but once you get that information from other people and testimonials, referrals, references, recommendations, right, once you get that third party evidence of the benefits that you drive, you now have not just the language that you need to share, but knowing exactly what it is that you have to offer. Now, you can't necessarily understand the value of it until you start to realize what it might be worth to other people. That's a different question, right? But the sheer benefit has to do more is with making sure that the people that you're talking to, the people that you're interacting with, understand the benefit that you're offering. When they can do that, you're going to generate a tremendous amount of interest. Let me give you an example of how it works with me. All right. There are three core benefits that I drive to everyone I work with all the time. Those three core benefits are around three key ideas: focus, energy, and performance or productivity. Focus, energy, productivity. People who work with me all the time, whether they're taking my classes, whether they're working with me personally through coaching situations, no matter what, I make sure that everything I do, everything I say helps them with their focus, with their energy and with their performance. I do this intentionally. I will say right off the bat, entrepreneurs, business leaders, people out there, they all suffer from the same three issues all the time. And they need systems in place and people in place that can deliver systems to them that will help them correct this problem. All of us at some point come to a situation where we lose focus, whether it's in our role as a husband, father, or our role as a wife, or a child, whatever our role is that we play, an entrepreneur, a business leader, a teammate. All of us lose focus sometimes. And we have to have system in place to help us regain our footing, help us recommit and refocus our efforts. Because if we can do that, then we can maximize what we need to do instead of having our focus dissipated in all kinds of different directions all at the same time. We want to make sure that we're on task, on point. We're always people that can be counted on. We are credible. But when you can't focus, when you can't deliver. It's impossible to do, right? And do it well. So you want to perform at an exceptional level, you're going to have focus. The second thing you're going to have is energy. Most of us, at some point, no matter what we're doing, and no matter how it happens, we run out of juice. We run out of steam, we run out of energy, exactly at the time when we probably need it most. How do you make sure you never run out of energy? How do you make sure you never run out of power, the passion that generates that continuous source of renewable energy and effort to whatever it is you're trying to do? We know that if you can fix the focus problem, that's great, but you still got to have energy. You still got to have enough energy to keep driving through, over, around, whatever the problem is that you're trying to solve. You got to put enough energy in it. You got to have enough gas in the tank. If you don't have enough gas in the tank, how do you generate gas? How do you generate that energy all the time, over and over and over and over again? I have systems in place that can guarantee that you can do that. Want to know more? Do I have your interest? You got to contact me. My information is scrolling down on the screen, by the way. So these are things, right? The other thing, performance, right? Everybody gets to a level where they have to show up. They have to show up and they have to perform with a level of excellence, with a level of quality that generates an awesome admiration, an awesome amount of respect, an awesome amount of energy coming back to them, which is the reciprocal, right? So if you give enough and you perform enough and you do it well enough, that means you've practiced, you've rehearsed, you have your act together, so to speak, right? And you come at it, then you come at it with a level of confidence and competence that people generate and they fall in love with. Once you've done that really, really well, then you deserve everything that's coming back to you. You deserve all the benefits that people have to share with you. That's the admiration part, right? If people don't literally admire you and hold you and something about you in high esteem, then they're not going to trust you. They're not going to value you. They're not going to bring you forward. You're not going to be able to have a seat at the big table. Even if you have a seat, you're not going to be able to keep the seat because you're not bringing it. You have to be able to perform at high levels all the time. Not some of the times, but credibly so all the time in the space that you know how to play in well. That's the call, developing your expertise, right? So those are the three things that I offer people: energy, focus, and performance. But when you talk about the benefits that you offer people, what are they? How do you speak about them? How do you impress people with them? How do you share them in a way that's going to be meaningful? Because I promise you, I've already done the homework for me. Have you done the homework for you? Do you know how to really articulate your benefits? We're going to be working on that for the next couple of weeks. Do you know what you have to bring to the table that you can keep bringing to the table no matter what happens, because you have what it takes. You have the energy, you have the information, you have the talent, you have the focus to do it over and over and over again in any environment. Because if you know what you have to offer, now all you have to do is figure out who wants it. Now all you do is figure out who needs to receive it and who's going to be blessed by it, who's going to really feel like what you're offering is meaningful to them. What referral sources, what stakeholders, what future investors, who could you be sharing this benefit to that could really appreciate it in a way that you're going to feel that benefit of their appreciation? This is key. We're not talking about working harder and working smarter. We're talking about being wise and discerning in how you use your energy and your efforts. let's continue. Now that you've gained someone's interest, right? The second thing you got to do with benefits is you have to keep their attraction, right? You have to keep their attention. You have to gain their interest and you have to keep their intention or their attention. So how do you do this? How do you make sure that once you've gotten someone's interest, that you maintain their attention long enough for the third thing to happen, which is to create their admiration? So here's the thing. This is how we work. This is how the brain works. This is how the mind works. It's not that difficult to drop a benefit statement out there that gets people's interest, right? And if you got the right people's interest, you know exactly what's going to happen next. You're going to have to maintain their attention long enough for their behavior to change in a direction that you want it to change. I mean, that the influence that you have to have next, because you got their interest, you piqued their interest, right? Now you have to keep their attention long enough for their attention to turn into something that's going to make them change a behavior they used to have to a behavior that they will now have. And sometimes people will continue to dangle that same interest carrot out there. Well, if you're interested in focus, then you're going to hang in there and listen to me talk and dribble on about that a little bit longer. Or if you're interested in performance, then you're going to hang in there, blah, blah. That's elementary school talking, elementary school. You have to know all the subtle nuances that make your target audience tick in order to grab their attention, in order to keep them coming back, right? And one of the keys, I will give you a secret. We already talked about this over the last series, and if you need to go back, you need to check it out. Storytelling is the way to keep their interest. In fact, using the 5 elements of perfect presentation, which I shared with you over the last series, that is the way you're going to keep their attention, right? You have to make sure that you have that impact. You have to make sure that you bring in the drama. You have to make sure that you are literally focusing on helping everybody know your vision that you're trying to get to, and then last but not least, when you have to be able to share with them where you want them to tell and refocus those stories, and then how you want that to get back to you, and then you matter. Then they care about recognition, right? Why is it that you're doing the things that you're doing? Who you are in the whole process. But until you can tell those kind of compelling stories in anything that you want to share with people, you're going to miss the mark. You're going to lose their attention. Now, understand that human beings are hardwired to pay attention to wonderful stories. Now, I know there's some myths out there about storytelling and telling people out there. They go, well, I don't want to manipulate people and I don't want to control people. The reality is you do want to influence people. You have to be able to influence people. And the difference between manipulation and control, or control, on the manipulation and influence, are simply intent. So we're going to come back to that in a second, but you have to make that you understand if there is the wrong intent, then you're going to be on that side of manipulation and control. But if the intent is correct and you're heart to heart, or you meaning like you want to talk about it, brother Bond spoke about this earlier. If it's not your passion, if it's not your joy, if it's not something that you have a feeling, a call to, a gifting to, then it might be something that you're trying to manipulate and control people on, not influence them. And you need to police that in yourself. And we're going to talk about that in just a second too. So benefits are really critical, important, right? You want to grab their interest, right? Once you got their interest, you want to keep their attention by delivering on the promise of how you're going to do the thing that's going to help them get to the thing that you promised them that they might be interested in earlier. You want to make sure you tell stories that demonstrate how that works. You want to make sure they understand that they can participate in a story just like the one you're telling, right? If they can't see themselves participating in the story, or somebody that they know participating in the story, there's no way to transfer that attention from you back to them in a way that they feel like you influence that transfer, and then the opportunities that come next will not be able to come. Let's talk about the last part of a benefit, benefit statement, benefit delivering, benefit sharing, it always, always, always creates admiration. It is literally impossible for you to receive something that you bring in as a benefit and not admire the source of the benefit. Let's talk about admiration for a second so that you understand where I'm coming from. When you admire someone, something, some organization, something that you feel like not only are you in touch with something great, but you feel like you don't want to lose that feeling, right? You want to work hard, you want to bring your A game, you want to do the best you can so that you can maintain that feeling. It's critically important. It's critically important that you can maintain that feeling, that you can keep people moving forward, that you can keep delivering on the promise, that you can keep participating in the environment. Your contribution, ultimately, in order for you to receive meaning, relevance, and significance, has to be one that is going to earn you the admiration such that people will then share with you the feedback you need to share to let you know that you've been meaningful, relevant, and significant to them. And therefore, they're going to give you back what you need to get back, whether that is more time, more attention, more money, more relevance, whatever you want back. You have to be willing to invest it forward. And through your benefits and through your sharing of those benefits and the talents and the gifts that you have with others that have the ability to then turn around, use it, and admire it, right? So you can't admire or respect a benefit that's not for you, that's not personal, right? It has to be something that sings to you. I have to want it. If you want me to respect it and value it, it has to be something that I want. And if you don't know what I want and you're guessing at what I want, it means you're throwing out all these different things out there that's really like none of that is hitting me in my heart. None of it is hitting me in my mind. I don't even want, I'm not even sure why we're talking. If there's no clear benefit, if the benefit and the intention is not clear, we're going to have us a problem. So I want to review with you a couple of quick quotes and a couple of rules. And then I'm going to get on. I'm going to bring Coach Bond back. And we're going to chat it up. We're going to talk about this benefit thing, right? We're really going to. Hopefully, you guys have questions to ask. If you have any questions, go ahead, put that information in the chat. Let's talk about it. I'm so glad that so many of you all have been paying attention so far. Just hold on with me for just a few minutes because I'm going to give you a shout out about your business and all kinds of stuff. If you haven't put your information in the chat already, please do so. Let's talk about this first quote that I want to share with you that really highlights some of the importance of intention in your benefits. Seneca, who some of you all may know, is one of the world's oldest and greatest philosophers, written so much juicy, meaningful information that you really should share. He says this: the gift consists not in what is done or given, but in the intention of the giver or doer. The gift consists not in what is done or given, but in the intention of the giver or doer. Everybody wants to know, no matter what you're up to, not just what you're offering, but why you're offering it. What is the intention that you have to sharing the gifts, the talents, the treasure that you have to share? You may have done your homework and realized this is a great benefit and I want to give it and I want to offer it. I want to contribute it to the universe, to the world, to the target audience, to target market, whatever. But you have to know they're going to be asking they have a right to ask the question, why are you doing this? Why are you giving this to us? Why are you sharing this with us? Why do we have this benefit? What do you want? What are you in for? What do you want me to do with it? How do you want me to perceive whatever it is you're doing? What is your intention? People have a right to know what your intention is when you have a benefit that you're trying to offer them. You're the one that's trying to get their interest. You're the one that's trying to keep their attention. You're the one that's trying to win their admiration. So Be upfront about it. Don't try to hide your intentions when you have something to offer someone else. Don't do it, because that's going to end up in putting you in a bad situation with people, and you don't want to have to come back and eat that humble pie and say, well, I was really in it for this, and I was hoping that was going to come, but obviously it didn't come, so therefore it didn't happen. Let me tell you. Let me give you a perfect illustration of how I used to, when I was a financial advisor, get the benefits that I really really wanted. I would tell people, listen, I'm going to work with you. I'm going to work with you on your financial plan. I'm going to work with you on making sure that your goals are strategic. I'm going to work with you on making sure your behavior is aligned to the right types of investments and the things that you need to get in order to receive everything you want to align yourself with the places you want to go, the lifestyle you want to have, and everything else. I can do all that for you. I'm only going to ask one thing in return. And I need you to promise me that you're going to get this done. Promise me that you're not going to keep me a secret. Promise me that you're going to tell others about me. And I don't mean others. I don't mean your cousin, your uncle, your auntie. I want you to tell your boss's boss. I need you to tell your realtor. I need you to tell your CPA. I need you to tell your lawyers, anybody you come in contact with, about the work that we're doing here and how you felt about it. If you're willing to do that for me, then I am willing to give you everything I can give, to work with you as hard as I possibly can, and make sure that your goals are met, that your behavior is right, and that your future is secure. That's what I need from you. I will make that promise to you, that I will do everything in my power to make you as successful as I possibly can, if you will make the promise to me that you won't keep me a secret, and you'll take every opportunity that you can to share me with other people. I need you to do that, because if you don't do that for me, and my clients don't do that for me, then I got to work hard on establishing my marketing presence and doing all the things I need to do just to be out there, just to be seen by the right people. Hopefully the right people will see me. I don't really want to be guessing about that. I want to show so much value to my customers that they feel comfortable referring me to people that I really, really, truly want to meet. And if we can make that deal happen, then you got me. This ain't about a transaction to me. This is about a life for me. When people understand your intention of why you're willing to do the things that you're willing to do for them, guess what? They're more than happy to help you out. So I was one of the few representatives that we used to walk back into my office on call night, when we had to call all the referral sources and all that kind of stuff. I would come in every night, every week, every Monday night with 20, sometimes 30 people that my clients had already set up for me to contact. I wasn't cold calling anybody. I was talking to people who wanted to talk to me about the things they wanted to talk to me about, for reasons that make sense to them, because their friend, their associate, their worker, whoever already referred me, and they referred me well. You get the point that I'm talking to you about, right? If your intentions are not clear, people cannot help you move forward. They cannot help you move forward. They don't know what you're up to, why you're up to it. I used to tell my clients all the time, I can't afford the marketing that I need to do in order to reach the levels I want to meet in my profession. In order for me to make it, I'm going to need my clients to help me. So I need you like you need me. You need my expertise. I need your help. This is win-win. This is not I win and you lose, or you win and I lose. This is not your typical customer service relationship. No, no, no. You're now becoming a stakeholder in my business, in my life. And if I lose with you, then we all lose. And I'm not losing, because I play to win. If you're not clear about your intention and what you want people to do and what you want to offer, then you're creating sort of what I call muddy water, right? You're creating opportunities where people don't really know what they're getting themselves into. They don't really know. They're relying on your title to talk about who you are, or something they think about whatever a financial advisor is, or a coach is, or whatever it is that you do, whatever you bring to the table. You don't want that. You don't want to be put in that box. You want to be you. You want to be the person that God put you here to be for others. And you want to be able to share the talents and the gifts that you have in a way that magnifies your creator and everything that you've been designed and developed to do, whether you've done that development personally or you've added on what God already gave you to that development in order to create even better benefits, go for it. Do that investment in yourself, but don't allow yourself to believe that you're just a transaction, because you're a human being. And there's no such thing as a human being that's just a transaction. If you put yourself in that robotic moment, then you're going to be received that way. And if you're received that way, it's because you are using the wrong, I would say, types of benefit statements that are attracting the wrong types of people to the wrong thing about you, right? So be careful about that. Because of what Seneca says, it's about intention and understanding everybody really wants to know what you're up to and why, right? There are some things that you got to be careful of, some big questions that you need to be able to answer for people before they even ask it. What do you want them to do? What do you want from me? What do you want me to do from what you have to say or share or be or do? What do you want? Why do you want it? And you got to ask those questions, right? How might whatever it is that you're doing benefit somebody else that I know? Maybe it doesn't benefit me directly. Maybe it benefits somebody else that I know. You got to be able to articulate that to me, because if you don't, then you're not going to get that referral. You're not going to get my support. You're not going to get my testimonial. You're not going to get what you need, that third party relevance from me that you need to move you forward. You're not going to get my trust. That you understand me, my friends, your target audience, anything. I'm not going to be there with you, because you're going to seem to be either incompetent or manipulative. And you don't want to be either of those things. And you want to be extremely competent in the place that you want to, places that you want to talk to or share with people, and you want to be influential versus manipulative. You want to be something that somebody that we want to follow, somebody we want to click on, somebody we want to share. If you're not doing that, you haven't done your homework. You don't know what you're offering and what the benefits of what you're offering. Now, before you get into benefits again, I just hit on something I want to explain to you. There's a difference between a benefit and a feature or a fact of whatever it is you're offering. Facts and features are just facts and features. They're not benefits. Benefits are what people feel like when it's all said and done. Benefits are the things that people feel like they're interested in. Benefits are things that grab people's attention. Benefits are things that people admire. They don't admire facts and features. So I know a lot of you are sales reps out there, and you've been trained on what your product delivers and does, right? And those are the facts and features that make it happen. But the benefits are what people receive after the facts and features are already in place, after they've chosen the right combination of facts and features in your whatever product or service that you're delivering. The benefits are how they're going to feel about it when they receive it. Once they receive it, are they still interested? Once they receive it, do they still pay attention to it? Is it still a part of them? Do they still admire it? That's how you know you've delivered benefits. And you need to know what those benefits are, not the facts and features of your product or service. I know that's hard for a lot of us, because a lot of us are trained in the facts and features. Engineers, doctors, lawyers, CPAs, we're trained in talking about and thinking about the facts and features of whatever it is we're offering, the special service we're doing, right? That's important, right? But it's not important to the people who are going to be beneficiaries of the talent that we have to offer. What's important to them is, oh my God, doc, I'm going to feel like the pressure is off after the surgery. I want to feel like I've done the right thing for myself and my body, and my family is going to be excited to hear that I finally got this problem resolved. Or I'm dealing with this issue and I'm taking a proactive stance on an issue that might cause me further complications. That's the benefit, doc. This is not the knee surgery. It's not the heart surgery. It's not the surgery itself or the medicine itself. It's that I'm doing the right thing for myself, my body, my family, and I'm able to share that information, because that's what, when people receive benefits, they love to share them. They have no problem sharing the benefit. They don't know how to share the facts and features that you're offering. So don't complicate the conversation with facts and features, because that's impossible to share. Yes, people do need to know what you're doing. I get it. Well, I gotta make sure they know exactly what I'm offering and exactly what they're buying. That's true. That's client education. That's a different thing that I'm talking about right now. They need to understand the benefits first. They need to want the benefits first. And then they're willing to pay attention long enough to get those facts and features and understand those, right? Everybody says, I want to educate a client. I want to educate my customers. Your customers did not hire you because they want an education. They hired you because they want to benefit. Education just comes along with it, right? Last thing I'm going to say about benefits, and then we're going to chat it up a bit. Okay. One of my favorite authors, Paul Coelho, and if you have a chance to read any of his stuff, you got to read it. I mean, he writes fiction, but writes it from a perspective of philosophy that's easy for us to understand. Coelho says, avoid those who seek friends in order to maintain a certain social status or open doors that they would otherwise not be able to approach. Basically, avoid the leeches out there who just want you because you have something to offer them, not that they have something to bring to the table for you. I'm going to tell you, as a networker, it is important to know people who could do for you. It is important for you to have good relationships with people who could do for you. Unfortunately, though, those relationships have to happen before you need what they can do for you. And so you have to be thinking far ahead in the distance. Like, I'm going to be in a relationship with this person because they eventually they might fund my next venture or the next growth of my organization or my business. And I need to know them before I need them, right? You have to build the relationships before you need the relationships. Because if you try to build a relationship because you need the relationship, you're going to end up exactly one of the people that Coelho was talking about here. You're going to be a leech. You're going to be a person who is in it for you more so than you're in it for the relationship. And that breaks into the rules that I want to share with you. These are rules of benefits. There's just some of the rules, and not all of the rules, because over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to share the rest of the rules with you. But let me talk to you about some of the rules right now. Rule number 1, never make it about a transaction. Always make it about the relationship. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to get in people, always make it about the relationship first and foremost. As long as it's about the relationship, the transactions will happen. But when it's about the transaction, you're going to miss the opportunity for the relationship to be long lasting and sustaining. Put it that way. You can transaction for a moment, but you can't have a relationship based on transaction because you're going to run out of transactions. And then what do you do with the relationship? That you don't have one. You never created one. So therefore, all you have is a transactional relationship, and it's over when it's over. If you build a relationship that's based on the relationship, the value, the character of the people, now all of a sudden you have something that's sustainable that you can move forward. You don't want to bring somebody on your advisory council. You don't want to have somebody be a referral source for you. You don't want to have somebody be a source of revenue or opportunity for you. That's just a transaction. You don't want that. You want the relationship first. You want them to be inspired. You want them to be uplifted. You want them to feel like when you're around that they're getting the right types of attention, that you're genuinely interested. That's the benefit to them, right? That you admire them. If you can't share those benefits to them, then how are they going to share them back to you? If you can't deliver those, if you can't invest those into them, how are they going to give it back to you? So rule number 1, make it about the transaction, not about the relationship. Rule number 2, make sure you're offering value to everyone, including you. Right? Just because you're working with somebody and you're trying to add value to them, that value has to be coming back to you as well. And you have to be adding value to you. So if you're not investing in yourself, investing in your education, investing in your talent development, practicing, rehearsing, doing the work that you need to do to become better and better and better at what you're doing and what you're offering, then guess what? You're not going to be able to keep up with the demand of the marketplace that you're choosing. You're not going to be able to keep up with it because you're not improving yourself. You're not gaining in development. You're not getting to the place where you're becoming excellent and an expert and professional and, not perfect, but the pursuit of perfection is not bad. When you know this is what you're supposed to be doing, you know this is who you are, what you're all about, you got to pursue it. You got to pursue it vigorously. So you need to look for it. Even if we're offering benefits that are practice to you, that is making you better because you get to practice, right? I do it all the time. I offer my products and services to people who I know might not be willing to pay the cost, but I need to prove myself. So I offer it to them and they show up and they get, oh my God, this is so wonderful. This is so amazing. And then all of a sudden now, not only do they want to talk about me, they want to hire me and do all other things that I need to do. So it works out perfectly. but you have to be discerning about how you offer what you offer and to whom you offer it to, for what reasons you offer it to them. That very, 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 very important is. We're going to talk about all that in the next couple of weeks, right? Number three, offer all that you can responsibly. Don't give up everything you have and then have nothing for yourself. That makes no sense at all. You have to keep something in, you have to keep what you need to keep so you can maintain your lifestyle, your programs, the things that are working for you. You don't want to give away the store, and I'm not saying don't give graciously and generously, do that, but don't give everything that you need to sustain your lifestyle. You're gonna have a problem with your family, you're gonna have a problem with your wife, you're gonna have a problem with your investors, your stakeholders. Everybody's gonna be mad at you because you didn't give away everything. So be careful. Don't give it all away. Give away enough that you can be beneficial and graceful and all the things that you need to have for others, but keep maintain what you need to have for yourself. And the third thing, whatever you give, whatever you share, it has to be a willing sacrifice of yourself for the real benefit of someone else. If you're not making a sacrifice, but you're trying to make that benefit seem like it's a benefit that's not really a benefit because you're not really making a sacrifice, then guess what? It's going to be something that you could have easily done. It didn't mean anything to you to share it, to give it, to translate it to somebody else. And it won't mean as much as you think you need it to mean for other people. Even if it means so much to them, they're going to find out to you that it was easy and was nothing to do. It didn't mean anything. It wasn't a real gift. It wasn't a real sacrifice for you. And so, when they figure that out, it's like, oh, there's no reason for me to be thankful for this because there was no sacrifice on your part in the giving or the receiving of it. You understand what I'm saying? Hopefully you get that. Hopefully you got some lots of stuff and questions to ask in the chat because I'm looking forward to chatting it up with my good friend James Bond about all these things we talked about today. I'm bringing it back to the table. I hope I didn't bore you there, Brother Bond.
No, it was awesome. It was very, very, very good. It made me think about a few things too, and as I present to my clients as well, because everything you said made perfect sense to me. Because at the end of the day, the proof that I have benefits to my client is that I have not advertised since 2012. That's like 9 years ago, because I run 85% referral because the benefit, the benefit, and what I do, 80% of my clients are, they're 80% roughly are super personal. So they don't go into my whole last page of my third page contract is about confidentiality. So Joe's not going to tell John that his life was just in ruins and he was about to do something horrible. No, he's going to tell John that, man, I was in a bad place, as you know, detailed, unnecessary, but call James Bond. So I get phone calls all the time, and it's funny because some of the calls I get, I'm like, okay, well, who first I can send a referral fee? I don't know. I just heard your name and a friend of a friend, and a friend, and a friend. And so my life sucks right now. And can you? So, and the three things that I tell people that I always bring to start out is you, statement
Right.
you. So I introduce you to you. And that's tough for some people, but you have to get there. The next one is how. It's how are we going to get from A to Z? And then, of course, the third one is when. And it's timing right now. It's timing 30 days from now. It's timing a year from now. But the when is going to happen, I'll tell you the when. But the biggest benefit to that is, like you said, is the whole thing about it's kind of about the benefits. People have to know I'm here personally to get you out of that bad place. And guess what? I know that the money has to follow that. I don't need taste money. There's times when I talk to clients, and I'm a believer, so there's times and the Lord will tell me, "You're doing this guy for free, the lady for free." What do you mean? You're doing it for free? Don't worry about the money. I'll supply the money. And then so I'll get another client. I'll get another extra client, and the money is replaced. But at the end of the day, I tell people all the time, even when I do especially sales training, you have to figure out how to give away 95% and charge for the 5%. Because the only benefit is the 5%. The rest of it, if they search hard enough, they can get it themselves. So always present to people, again, my purpose for waking up this morning is to get a client from A to Z. Otherwise, no need to get up in the morning. And so, by this being my why for literally living, people can feel that when you're talking to them.
They sure
and
can.
like yeah, they can feel that, and so people know that when that's why I get home when my first meeting is like, okay, here's a 12-page questionnaire to ask me. What is this for? Are you going to ask me because you're interviewing me? At the end of this conversation, I'm going to tell you whether I'm the right fit for you or not, and vice versa. What do you mean? I don't need your money, because guess what? If you're not the right fit for me, I'm going to tell you and refer you to another client or refer you to someone else, because I can't risk my brand being ruined, and I can't risk my benefit being jeopardized by you
Exactly.
being a non-listener, by you being a person that does not apply anything you're being told. So I have to weigh that in also.
That's right.
You know, yeah, but it just kind of like you
I
said,
tell
yeah,
you time as a coach, it's my job to choose the right people to put on the field.
that's
If
right, that's
I
right,
put the wrong people on the field, they're gonna fail, and then they're gonna blame me. In
that's right,
fact, they're gonna blame me. The audience is gonna blame me. Everybody's gonna blame me because I put
that's
the
right.
wrong player. So,
Every time, and that's why you
I,
find. Remember, you,
right, I had to be discerning enough to figure out: are you the right player? So that are
yeah,
you ready for this? Because if you're
that's
not
right,
ready, then I got to reduce the game to the level that you are ready,
that's
or
right,
I got to somehow figure out how to make that work. If not, then I can find you somebody else that
that's
can
right.
that can work with you.
That's right. That's right. And that's the whole benefit. That's why, remember we used to joke about when we were in the corporate world, the manager's desk closest to the door for a reason. Because if you're the right, again, if you're coaching someone, at the end of the day, people have to understand those things. And that's one thing I tell people all the time is that what is this person, or why aren't you referring your cleaners, your dry cleaners? Why aren't you referring your CPA? Why aren't you referring your accountant? Why aren't you referring? Well, yeah, they do okay. Then why are you with them? So you have to kind of, okay. So if, like you said, if I'm excited about, man, this guy, my life sucked for a while, and my business was slow, and my staff didn't really get it. This guy came in here, and in a matter of whatever time, they get it. And the huge, bigger benefit to the whole process, when he left, I get how to help them get it. So that's
Exactly.
even better, because
Right.
because I don't want to be a crutch, but I want to
Right.
just make things make sense to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. My boy Joshua Best is on here. I'm going to put his information through the chat right now. He's here coming in from uh, Josh Best King. He's a Smart Insurance 19. He's in Leesburg right here. Okay, that's his information right there. Josh, if you have any questions or anything, definitely put him in the chat, man. We want to get to you. We want to make sure you have a good time with us and so on and so forth. Dawn shared this with me. I don't know what that is. Ronald Merriweather, why she wants to talk about Ronald Merriweather or what that is. But but Don, if you could give us an explanation, that would really be good. We can continue this conversation. Oh, my girl is paying attention. CF Jackson is out there. This lady is literally one of the best video producers on the planet. If you get a chance to work with her, guys, you should. Here's her question. What do you think about the longest becomes the strongest? I love that question. I love that question because I found out that when you offer your benefits and you offer your benefits well, it doesn't take you long to become strong,
Yeah.
but you also have the resilience it takes to go the distance, no matter what it is that you're bringing to the table. You have to, and this, I can't stress this more. We're going to get into this in a couple of weeks, but you have to understand and truly understand what your contribution is and the value of your contribution to the right people. Because if you don't understand the value of your contribution, it can't be a contribution. You can't have a value for everybody. It's a value for somebody.
Yes.
And you have to know who that somebody is. Because if you don't know who the somebodies is that you have the maximum ability to contribute to, and you can't find them, then you're going to be stuck trying to play the long game because you won't find the market for whatever it is that you're offering, whatever it is you're trying to do. You're going to be looking to do it in the wrong places.
Yes.
And we all know people who are trying to do everything in the wrong places, right? We come upon people who are marketing products and services for anybody, everybody, right?
Yes.
Anything for anybody, everybody works for nobody specifically.
Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly. It benefits nobody.
How do I make sure that my messages and my brand has a meaningful, specific right? That hits the right market in the right way at the right time so that everybody wins simultaneously. And that doesn't take time. It just takes enough effort up front to understand what it is you bring to the table. How do you articulate what you bring to the table in a meaningful, powerful way to the right people and not the wrong people? Because
Yeah.
if you start talking to the wrong people about what you have to offer, they're going to be jumping on board, and that's going to be great. You'll create a funnel, so to speak, of prospects. But now what? Because there's a whole bunch of people that you don't want to work with
Yeah, that's right. And
and
that's the
offer
thing.
no
Yeah,
real benefit back to you. They're takers
exactly. That's
in, in,
that's the
in
big thing.
reality, and even if they pay you, they're still takers because they don't have because payment alone is not a benefit.
No, no, not at all. Not at all.
You
And and people ask me, how come, how come you read so much? How come you always going to conferences? Because I have to show myself and prove to myself. I have to stay relevant to my client, relevant to the world, which changes every second. So I want to make sure that if you ask me a question, I'm studied on that area because I'm going to tell you that I was in the area. And if I'm not, I'm going to tell you that also as well too. But you have to make sure that the one thing you realize, and it's funny because I love, and I'll talk about that's what with Mr. Best there. I love an opportunity to train, say for instance, insurance agents because that's one of the hardest things for most people to sell necessarily or to create the benefit for. But I tell people, I'm a very direct person. So now agents, for instance, life insurance agents. Well, guys, so I don't need insurance, my life insurance. Well, so you want your other half to have to remarry for money to get the same lifestyle, or have to move back with their parents, or to have to struggle and get on assistance, or to have to go back and downsize the lifestyle that you created for them because you love them when you on this side. So, oh yeah, that's kind of harsh. It's not harsh at all. It's a fact. It's a fact. So the benefit to signing this form is the benefit that you have the opportunity to keep the same benefits of the person that you set up those benefits for when you're no longer beneficial to being on this side.
It's
So,
true. I remember for 20 years, that's what I did. I did insurance investments and, mutual funds, stocks, bonds, everything that there was to create assets and wealth for people. And I realized that I was talking to them so many times about the facts and features of what we offer.
yeah,
This is how this is calculated, and this is the program that works, and this is how it works. And I was trying to educate people, like trying to give everybody all the talent and all the education that I took. It took me 15 years to get all this information in my head, and I wanted to spit it all out to somebody in 30, 40 minutes. It was a mistake that I was making.
yes,
And people were like, they were excited. They were like, oh yeah, you clearly know your stuff, but you can't communicate to human beings. And so therefore, no, I don't want to work with you.
that's right.
you know,
That's right. That's
I
right.
figured out that, what? I had to change up how I was offering what I was offering to make sure that I was offering the benefits. And I was offering, they say I'll sell the steak, but not the sizzle.
Yes, yes, and that is the whole key. Like for instance, like Mr. Best's question here, when do you what made you realize you hire and fire clients? For me, if you hire me to get past the first process, you hire me, and we're a few months even in, and you're not applying what I'm telling you to do, you're not applying what you should know what to do, I'm going to refund. I fire a lot of clients. So because I'm going to refund because my brand is not worth you being a person that's not listening, that's not applying things. All money isn't good money. And the other side of that benefit to you would be if a client, especially an insurance company in business, they're always bringing you other quotes from other companies. Guess what? Someone in line, they didn't buy your benefit. So I don't need to match up to the lowest company because I'm not the lowest company. I'm the highest company. So I don't need you to consistently ask me, well, how come your rates are higher? That's my fault. I have to own that. If I haven't showed you the difference in driving this Ferrari than driving a Chevrolet Spark, that's my fault.
Right.
I missed the benefit.
I got a really good one for you, Josh. I found out in the industry over many, many years ago that I hired and fired my clients at the annual review process. Every time it was annual review time, and they either missed that appointment or somehow didn't behave well during that appointment, they were going to get a letter from me that said something like this: "It was wonderful working with you. I have referred your case to another agent in my office who can handle the service requirements and so on and so forth of your contract or whatever process or program you bought from us. Thank you very much for the time and attention." And then I literally would not answer their phone call, I would not answer their email or anything like that. Once I sent that letter,
Yeah.
it was done.
Exactly.
And they recognize, they'll know what happened because I told them up front, if you miss my annual review, all right, if I find out that it's something that you should have told me along the way that you didn't tell me, or something that you were doing along the way that you didn't make me aware of because you basically didn't honor the contract of our relationship, I'm no longer going to work with you, and I'm going to refer you to another agent, usually a younger agent or somebody with less experience than in my office. And that will be that.
That's right. That's right.
And that was my deal right up front. I made sure they understood that right up front. Yeah. That's why when I left the business, I had a hard time leaving the business because I had made so many lifelong promises to people.
Yeah.
And I had to go back and then make sure they were with somebody who would take care of them.
That's right.
In the way they were used to being cared for.
Yeah.
Before I could officially go, I got to pull the plug and get out of here and do something different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they weren't transactions for me. They were relationships.
Exactly. And that's the key. That's the key to anything we do. You have to make sure that the benefit that you have, that you get someone who has intentional, like earlier you said, intentional care for your success. You don't have enough money to pay me my value. You don't have enough money for that. Right. So, but you have what the benefit you have is someone who cares about your success, who someone knows this is not a transaction, this is a relationship, and that's why when I talk to people, say, especially company owners and CEOs, do you know your secretary's dog's name, dog's birthday? That's a benefit. I mean, do you know your secretary's grandchild's first tooth loss, when he lost their first tooth, what day that was? It's a benefit.
That's right.
Because people need to be appreciated. And the benefit is not just how many benefits I have as far as health benefits. What's the benefit of working here? It's not I have 7 holidays a year. The benefit is you are not an employee. You are a family member.
Yes. You're a teammate.
Yes.
You're a co-owner. You are a person we're bringing on board, and we're going to put a ton of investment in you, because the return we want is going to be a return that's more than just somebody who's working for us. We want the return of somebody who is also invested in our success, and we are doing this together. I think the biggest word in the English language is we.
Yes.
We all need to get over I and get on to we. And if we all do we better than I, then we will all benefit much better. But we have to stop thinking about, I got to figure this out all by myself, and then I got to tell everybody what to do. No, you need to bring people to the table to help you figure it out, and then do what you've agreed that needs to be done together. That's right. Then when you do that, then everything works. I always tell my friends and associates who are out there who have individual businesses, if you don't have an advisory council that you are dependent on, you're making a huge mistake. If you don't have a ton of mentors, you're making a huge mistake. Huge. If you're not sharing your ideas and your thoughts with people who could value it appropriately, you're making a mistake.
Yes.
And so you have to do that work. You have to do that analysis in order to really figure it all out. If you haven't, then you're jumping into the shark-infested waters of entrepreneurship, so to speak, with no backup plan, with nobody to know that, if what hits the fan, I have additional resources. I have people who will invest more time, talent, and treasure in me.
Yes. Yes.
So that's why it's key. 83% of all jobs that are out there right now has been for the case for the last 5 years. They don't come because somebody applied for them. They come because somebody already had relationships.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. That's exactly right. And that's the whole thing about that. You said it's just about understanding that people have to understand that what is the real, how are you going to grow me working for you? That's the benefit. And it's like people have to really, you have to really sit back and understand that. And so many
Right.
companies, they don't do that because of the fact that they reverse that great resignation. Well, everybody's hiring. What? No, the market's, like you said, the market's not about an application. The market is about, who can you refer? What's one of your neighbors? Who are your friends? What's one of your circle that you think could benefit this company? To come alongside to work with you. And that's one thing that, again, that's this process now. People are just so caught up into, worrying too much about their jobs, but not really caring about people. Human beings are the only thing that count at the end of the
Yep. 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 This is why I love having you on,
day.
Brother Bond. You and I are just cut from the same rug in
Yes,
so
sir.
many different ways, and it's crazy. It's like when you find those brothers from another mother, sometimes it's like,
Yes.
wow, it's really, you know, this can't be the case, but it's so true. It is so true. Everything you're saying is absolutely spot on. If anybody has any other questions for us, please put them in the chat. If not, I'm going to give Brother Bond anything you want to recap on anything we talked about when it comes to benefits that you really want to hit on. And then I'm going to do the same, and then we get out of here.
You said something a minute ago is very important in advisory council. When I do business coaching, I ask them, if your advisory council is not asking you why 3 times, get rid of the advisory council. Because guess what? You don't need your friends or advisory council. You need the
Right.
people who are going to challenge your thinking, who are going
Yeah.
to make you think past you. Because guess what? Your business isn't about you. This
Nope.
is about providing a benefit to society that's going
Yep.
to stretch and grow them. So if your
True.
advisory council isn't asking you why 3 times when you bring something to the table, get rid of the advisory council. And understand, at the end of the day, people have to understand what is your benefit. What is your benefit? Your benefit, I started my statement off earlier. If your life doesn't make sense, if your business is not productive or doesn't make sense, then you need to call me. It's as simple as that. Because it's not a the benefit, advantage, and features we all were taught in our sales training when we were kids, so to speak. Advantage and features down the road.
Right.
Benefit, benefit, benefit. Thank you, brother.
Outstanding. 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 I want to add on to what you just said, but we run out of time. So I gotta party moving. Remember, guys, it's not a benefit that you're sharing. If people are interested, if it's not driving their attention long enough for you to be influential, and if it's not creating a sense of admiration in them, and you don't know any of this unless you're willing to get the feedback. You have to pay attention to the feedback. And people give you the feedback, whether they want to give you the feedback or not. If you're paying attention, you will see that they're in. You will see that they're leaning in, that they're excited, that they're asking questions, they're getting involved, or versus they're just sitting back and listening. You know when somebody's with you and when they're not with you. But you got to be paying attention to them long enough to figure out what you're saying and what you're doing that's driving that attention. If you don't do it, shame on you. This is called social intelligence. Look it up. You need to know how to engage with people so that the empathy that you have for them, the empathy they have for you is shared and vice versa. And it comes back and forth. And it's a constant flow of energy. And when you figure it out, it's super sustainable. It will create so much opportunity for you. You won't be able to control it all. And that's not necessarily a bad place because now you have opportunities to share with others.
Exactly.
So don't feel like if you can't handle it, I'm biting off more than I can chew. Don't worry about that. Worry about chewing what you need to chew, and worry about making sure that everybody else who could get the other stuff that you can't handle right now, so that you can take care of, and everything works for everybody.
Yes.
Don't try to do it all by yourself. Keep it all to yourself, and keep it all for yourself, because that's just not going how the universe works to benefit you sustainably long term. It's not going to work. You're going to fall on your face. And then you're going to wonder what happened. Well, I was only looking out for me. Yeah, look out for number one and everyone else.
Exactly.
Okay, so having said that, I'm gonna close the party down. I had a great time. Thank you all for coming on. Thank you super much, Brother Bond, for coming on. I'm gonna put you backstage for a second as I close
Yep.
out the show.
Thank you.
And everybody, guys, it was a super, super fantastic time. I hope you will take Brother Bond up on his offer. And by the way, just so you know, I wasn't able to put his information up on the screen because I couldn't figure out how to make things work for me. But I'm gonna let you know how to get in contact with him in just a second. If you want to see him or talk to him, and I don't know where I can find this information anymore. Look over here, look there, and I can't figure it out. Brother Bond, tell them what's your website address and what's your phone number.
Yes, it's Well Driven Life, WELLDRIVENLIFE, welldrivenlife.com, or 866 775 5233. Thank you, Mr. Powell.
Say it again for us slow people.
Yes, it is welldrivenlife.com, WELLDRIVENLIFE, welldrivenlife.com, or 866 775 5233.
Thank you so much. All right, picking him off the stage again. All right. So, as you guys had a great time, listen, this is what we do every week. I need you. I need you to be here. I need you to engage with us. I need you to share this with other people. Don't keep this a secret. Don't keep this party by yourself. I am now well over the 100th episode of Coffee Tea You and Me online, and we do this for free, broadcasted on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So if you have a comment, you have a thought, you have anything you want to share with us, do so. It's really all about the benefit of all of us and making sure that we all work together and we create opportunities for as many of us as is possible. Like I said earlier, I believe in entrepreneurship. I want to make sure we create as many entrepreneurs as we possibly can. I'm committed to it. I'm dedicated to it. And I hope you are dedicated to helping me do so. And you can do it by sharing what we have to share, like what we have to like, comment, engage, be there. Don't miss this opportunity. Even if you have to check it in a recording, that's okay. Engage with it like it was live. When you get a chance to finally see the recording. I had a great time. I know you did too, and I hope we will continue. See you next week. We'll continue our series on benefits. We're going to talk about making meaningful contributions next week. You're going to love that. All right. Look forward to you. Hopefully, we'll check you guys out on the back end, and we're getting out of here. Let's just so I figure out how to turn this thing off. There we go.